Hello, everyone. I'm Derrick Cash, and right now I'd like to talk to you concerning the Beyonce Mass. Okay, before I get started, I want to let you know that I am never in a position where I think I know everything and that my word is law and that I can't be coached or can't be taught. I am always willing to hear from the other side in hopes of getting new revelations and new ways of teaching and learning and thinking. So, with that said, I want to just let you all know something that really blessed my heart tonight. I was in a Bible study via Facebook with Pastor Shauna Adams, and she was talking about the gifts of the Holy Spirit. She was specifically talking about the gifts of service. But then what really blessed me, I'll be honest with you, because I'm a musician at heart, along with other things, was at the end, she said, "Hey, for all those that are supporting this broadcast, have you seen the video about the Beyonce Mass?" And you know what? I didn't see any clips, but I did see some postings about it. And she said, "Hey, when you look at it in full, and then we can have a further discussion about it." And I just want to say, Pastor Shauna Adams, if you're looking at this, thank you for recommending that video. And I'll be honest with you, I love to have dialogue with you regarding just the effects of the video and things of that nature. But before I start, I know I keep saying that, but I'm going to give you four things, right? First, I'm going to talk about what I believe the intent of the video was, or rather, not even the video, but the event itself. That's the first thing, the intent of the event. The second thing I want to talk to you about is my beliefs regarding the event. Now, the second thing, or rather the third thing, is I'm going to give you something very dangerous. It's going to be something dangerous that we need to contemplate. And lastly, I'll give you just a takeaway, a question to consider when you're thinking about this issue. Here we go, y'all. Number one, if you have been living under a rock, you probably have not seen on Facebook that I think a few weeks back in San Francisco at a church, there was an event called the Beyonce Mass. And in this event, it was a time whereby the music, specifically the themes that were produced in Beyonce's music, were being celebrated, were being exalted in a Christian church. It was, and here's my number one thing I like to talk to you about, it was a bait and switch. When you hear about a bait and switch, you are normally thinking about something that's negative, right? You are here that a company has a product that is very low price regarding dollars. And when you get to the register, the bait is, hey, it's a low price. But when you get to the register, it's not a low price. So they switched their original advertisement. That's the bait and switch. And that's a negative thing. But in the church, especially when preachers and teachers and ministers stand before the people and preach, there's another bait and switch tactic that goes on. Quite honestly, the bait is something that everybody can relate to. Something that may be a sporting event. It may be something that people always experience on their job or in their homes or whatever it is. The intent is for a worldly experience to parallel with a godly experience or theme. Let me just not take this all deep. So, if somebody's talking about restoration, somebody may, the restoration of the Lord, somebody may start off in their sermon. Have you ever had a situation where you had to restore something in your home? They use something that is secular, if you will, to bring it back. That's the bait, initially. But then the switch is, hey, I know you thought I was going to continue to talk about restoring your home, but no, I want to talk about the restoration that Jesus Christ can provide and the restoration that God can always give you. So it's a bait and a switch and a positive thing, right? So in the essence, or in the situation of the San Francisco church, the bait was Beyonce's music. Specifically, the themes of Beyonce's music. And so here's the thing. Beyonce is a human, just like we are. And how many of you all know that once you are a human and you are wrapped in this flesh, there are going to be some creations that you create and people think that are positive. And there are also going to be some creations that you create people that are going to think that they are negative. And so when Beyonce goes in the studio and creates all these things, everything that she creates is not positive. Everything that she creates is not negative. And you know what? I'm not saying it, from my point of view, I'm talking about the masses, how we deal with listening to music and all of that. So what this church, the intent of this Beyonce Mass was, let's take some themes. Somebody say themes. Let's take some themes that Beyonce produces That's the bait. And then let's bring people in with that bait into the church. And then when we get to preach, we'll tie it in with the themes of the Lord. So, we had some themes within Beyonce songs, freedom, also, what was the other song? I'm a Survivor, my halo, some themes that are popular, that are positive, not talking about selling drugs or selling sex and nothing like that. Just like, hey, these are some things that even if somebody was not a Christian, if they listen to this in their car, they'd be like, you know what? I kind of like that thing about freedom. I think I need to be having the freedom I need to do some things in life. Or, I wish I had some, what else? Mine's going blank, but she's talking about a halo in her song. I wonder what a halo is. Oh, is that thing that angels wear? Oh, okay, that's pretty cool. Or also, I'm a survivor. I went through hell, but now I'm surviving. You know what? I'm not saying I go to church every Sunday. I'm talking about some people out there, but I can get with some of the things, not all the things, but some of the themes that Beyonce has. So what they did was they used those baits to bring them into the church, right? And so in the church, off the videos that I saw, they were singing some of those songs. They were singing some of those uplifting songs, if you will. They were also telling messages, orating, talking, bringing a message to the people regarding some of those themes that might have had been produced by Beyonce in a worldly or secular manner, but the preacher in there did, in her own way, however you want to look at it, she did bring in God's themes as well. So these themes were parallel. They were parallel modus operandi at the time. So that was number one, the intent of the Beyonce Mass. Now, number two, if you're still with me, I thank you. Number two is, here is my position on the Beyonce Mass. So here we go. Oftentimes in our society, we love to celebrate those that are creative. Oh, and when it comes to musicians, we love to really celebrate them, honor them. How many of you all know that there have been songs in your life that have kept you going? There have been songs in your life when you were feeling down. If you just press play on the cassette, I'm dating myself right now. If you just press play, everything was going to be all right. And can I be honest with you all? Many of those songs have been gospel songs. Oh, but I came to tell you the truth as well. If you look at what your mother and your father were listening to, if you look at what you were listening to back in the day, there were some secular songs that lifted your spirit too. And guess what? Some of these secular songs didn't have profanity. They didn't have vulgarity, but they were really just conveying messages. May not have said Jesus is the king or anything like that, but they were conveying messages like, ain't nothing stopping us now. We got to get up on the good foot, stuff like that, right? So musicians, when they come up with these creations, are really in a position where people love to receive those things, right? And so people give tributes. These tributes are televised when we honor those songs and the way those songs made us feel. And so people do this. That is a fact. So here's the thing, my number 2 point here. I believe that the bait that the church used was great, but hey, the location could have been greater. I'm going to say that one more time for you all who are still with me. The bait that the Beyonce Mass, the church there that they used, the themes, the songs and all of that, that was great. But what could have been greater is the location. Okay, so when you have tributes, you can oftentimes go to the Staples Center. You can go to any performing arts center in your city, and you can really give a really wonderful tribute to musician. Here's when it becomes confusing, right? So for Christians, there are some symbols that allow us to continue our faith and allow us to psychologically prepare us of what's to come. Let me give you an example. When people go into a church on Sunday and they see the cross and they see the padded pews and they see the altar, I've got a sneaking suspicion that there is no possibility in their mind that they think it's time to praise Beyonce. No, I believe most of the Christians that I know, when they see that edifice and they see the choir choir and they see the choir stand and all of that, they have a sneaking suspicion that it's time to worship the Lord. I'm not saying, what I am saying is symbolically, that is something that has been the norm, right? And so when we don't have the best location for coming up with these great ideas like honoring positive music, positive themes in music, when we don't have the ideal location, it confuses people, right? It confuses our walk. There are some people who don't even give a lick about Jesus, but they look from the outside in and they say, I don't really serve him, but you know what? Every time I see this brother getting up in the morning on Sunday morning, he goes to this church or this building with this cross on it. And they tell me he goes in there and when he comes out, he's better than he was before because he was able to lay on the floor and cry out to God and things. He wasn't in there having a concert. He was giving himself to the Lord and things. That is symbolically what we attribute to the edifice of God, right? The church, right? So, yeah, great intent, great bait, right? But wasn't the ideal location, right? If we're going to have a tribute, how about we book the Staples? I keep on saying Staples Center or the center where the Golden State Warriors play or whatever. Let's have a tribute that way, right? Okay, let me move on down to a dangerous thing that I need to mention to you all. Please, if you're still with me, come on, clap your hands. Please do not, here's the danger thing. Please do not associate the Beyonce Mass with the Beyonce cult. Let's say that one more time. Please do not associate the Beyonce Mass with the Beyonce cult. If you remember a few months back, there were rumors on the internet talking about the Beyonce cult. And in this Beyonce cult, it was rumored that a person, a female, I believe, actually sacrificed herself in the name of Beyonce. So I have come to tell you that this Beyonce Mass that occurred at Grace Church, I believe in San Francisco, that was not the Beyonce cult. I'm sorry, they were not in a dark room. They were not looking for people to sacrifice themselves. They were not doing any of that. So please, when you go out, and y'all heard that video about the Beyonce Mass, oh, that's those people that were sacrificing themselves, right, and drinking the Kool-Aid and all that stuff. No, Beyonce Mass is not the Beyonce cult. Like I said in the beginning, the Beyonce Mass was an event used to use secular bait to promote, in the end, however way it may be flawed, a spiritual message. Okay, so that was the dangerous thing. Here's my last one, and I'll let y'all go. Thank you for listening to me. The last thing I want to tell you is, yes, San Francisco, it's very liberal. It's very much so a place where the people that are ostracized and casted out in different other regions of the United States of America are welcomed. It's been like that for so long. The gay rights movement really, I don't want to say started, but has great roots, up in San Francisco. These are the people who, yes, I know Christians believe that homosexuals and lesbians are sinning, but the word of the Lord reveals that. But here's the other key. There was a time where I was sinning. Oh, can I be real with you? There are still some times that I sin, and I need the Lord to restore me. So, everybody needs the Lord to restore them. So here's my question to you, us Christians in the body, right? Where do we draw the limits when it comes to reaching out and going out to those that are marginalized, that are not welcome? Where do we draw the limits? Now, it's easy to say that, hey, we go out and we prophesy and we preach and we feed the hungry, and some of those hungry people are sinning, and we welcome everybody. But there's a way to welcome people, and then there's another way to welcome people as well. Grace Church and the leadership that they have there, they decided to go another way. They decided to let's intentionally bring those that don't normally go to church. Let's intentionally bring those that that are normally not celebrated in the Christian faith. Let's bring all these people into church, right? That was their way of doing things. And so Here's as I go. Where's your line? Where's the line that you draw when it comes to welcoming those that are not like you? Where is it? I really want to know. And if you would be so kind to leave me a comment or to private message me, whatever you want to, I would love to hear your take on this entire Beyonce Mass. And I would love to have your take on theologically, biblically, all of that. Because I mean, we can read the scriptures all day, and we can come to the truths that have been revealed to us by Jesus. We can come to all of that, but it's more importantly, we need to talk to one another about that and be edified, and not just look at these videos and then just skip and act like we don't know what's going on, or not trying to learn, not trying to be elevated in our thinking. I think that's where we need to go. So as you go, thank you for listening to me. That was my report, if you will, about the Beyonce Mass. In no way, shape, or form am I the guru on anything. Feel free to enlighten me on what you have to say about this as I go. Take care, you all.